This recipe for true caramel is buttery, it's sweet, it's totally delicious, and you guys are going to love it because it only requires 3 ingredients. Welcome back to Mimi's Organic Eats. Today we're making one of my all-time favorite recipes and a recipe that I serve daily at my bake shop for over a decade. So let me show you guys how to make my true caramel. So all you guys need is 3 simple ingredients to make true caramel at home, and you guys don't even need a thermometer. So the process of making true caramel is exactly the same no matter if you're making caramel sauce, chewy caramels, or hard caramel candies. So all you guys have to do is master this one technique and you'll be able to make any kind of caramel that you need. And not only that, but you'll get to eat the most delicious, true tasting caramel that I served at my bake shop for over a decade. We made these recipes every single day at my bakery, and I taught so many employees with 0 baking experience how to make this true caramel from scratch, and I'm gonna teach you too. Let's make it. So I'm gonna make caramel sauce right now so I can show you guys the exact process of making true caramel. So the first step is going to be adding our cane sugar into our pot. Then we're gonna put this over medium heat. And now one last tip for you guys. If you guys have like a gas stove or a stove that's very powerful, you definitely might wanna go onto a lower setting. So I have my cafe range, and this, depending on which burner I use, they can be more powerful. And so I will actually sometimes cook caramel on low. If you guys have an electric range, you're probably gonna wanna be around medium for sure because those ones don't get as hot as gas. So when you guys first put your sugar on the heat, you just wanna let it sit there. And then as soon as it's been there for about a minute or 2, you just wanna give it a little bit of a mix. So as you can see, we have our first little bit of sugar that is starting to caramelize, which is right here. It's starting to turn into a little chunk, and that's good. That's what we want. And so now we have a little bit more. As you can see, the pot is starting to heat up, and so is the sugar, and it's creating these little chunks of sugar. This is the very first step. The sugar is starting to crystallize, and then from there, it will start to melt into a liquid. So at this stage, you don't have to stir it completely, but you do want to be monitoring it because as soon as we see a little bit more golden color on the bottom here, then we want to make sure that we move that sugar up to the top and the sugar that hasn't had a chance to start crystallizing yet down to the bottom so it can all heat evenly. As you can see, we have some bigger chunks of sugar that are starting to crystallize. This is great. Now I'm just moving some of the sugar from the top down onto the bottom and the stuff that is on the bottom up to the top. That way it heats up evenly. And now you can see that the sugar is starting to turn a little bit of a golden amber color. It's starting to caramelize. By this stage, your kitchen will probably start smelling like caramel. So now you want to stir a little bit more frequently just to ensure that the caramel is getting heated evenly and all these sugar chunks can melt. Once you get to this stage, it's going to start going a little bit quicker. So these are the chunks that I'm talking about. We got to make sure that we melt all these chunks in here before adding in the butter. Otherwise, these won't go away. So it's super important that you be patient and continue stirring this to ensure that all these chunks are completely melted. And a couple chunks left, as you can see. Just be patient, continue stirring. So as you can see, we have a nice and smooth caramel base. This sugar is completely melted and caramelized, and it's a golden-y color like this, and we're ready to add in our butter. So once the sizzling kind of stops, as you can tell, you don't hear it as much now, the butter will still look a little bit separated from the sugar. That's okay. As long as it's completely melted, you can start adding in the cream. And so with the cream, just remember, we're just gonna add in a little bit at a time, and we're gonna continue stirring. And now you guys have successfully made caramel. And I have caramel sauce here, so I'm gonna store this in a mason jar. And you can pour it into your mason jar as soon as it's ready. And if you're new to making caramel, or you maybe thought you left a couple sugar chunks in there, you can always run this through a fine mesh strainer before pouring it into your jar. But if you've made caramel as many times as I have, I'm not gonna do that. So now you have delicious caramel sauce that was made with just 3 ingredients. And this technique of dry burning the sugar creates a true caramel that will give you the most buttery, rich, and delicious caramely flavor you've ever had. For caramel sauce, you can store this at room temperature for up to 2 weeks, and you can even store it in the fridge for even longer. I love using this caramel sauce for drips on top of cakes, drizzles on top of cupcakes, and of course on top of ice cream. And if you're making chewy caramel candies, then you can pour these directly into your silicone molds, or you can just dump all the caramel onto a silicone mat. You'll be able to form them into little shapes or cut little strips of them later when they cool, or you can even just pull off pieces and use it in cookies. If you're making hard caramel candies, then you can just pour them right into your molds when it's done. I love making lollipops out of the hard caramel candy because it tastes just like the Fannie Mae candies that I had growing up, and it's so good. If you guys are from the Midwest, then you definitely know what I'm talking about, and you have to make these. So whether you love caramel sauce for making my salted caramel ice cream, chewy caramel candies, or caramel lollipops, now you know how to make true caramel with only 3 ingredients. If you want more baking tutorials just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join me next time in the kitchen.